Hi everyone, Star-Lord is here with a special edition of Hope for Humanity. Now, I decided to do this video because of the fact that I came across an article that I read a couple of days ago, and I thought that I would make a special video based on this subject matter because I felt that it had great importance to women. Now, it led me, after reading this article, it led me down a train of thought. And I thought it was important to share it with you because I want to sort of take you back. If you just bear with me, I'm going to take you back to my childhood and what it was like. I mean, obviously, I grew up in a different era than the article that I read was about today's women and what they're experiencing with the body dysmorphia and social media and all of those other things, which I find really disturbing. I'm so glad that back in my day there was no social media, because I can't imagine with what I went through going through this and, you know, having to deal with TikTok and Instagram and all that other stuff. It was tough enough. So just let me take you back to some of the experiences I had growing up as an awkward, very tall young lady. Okay, so first of all, I want to start off with when I first came into consciousness. I was in a household where I lived with my brother and sister, older brother and sister, and quite a few cousins. So I was just so used to, you know, being in mixed company that we all just kind of, you know, did our thing. I was the youngest of the children, but, you know, I was just like any other kid, just enjoying my life, just thinking, you know, this is, you know, what is this strange planet that I'm on, and what am I doing here? Like any other kid, I just played and did my thing. And then, of course, grade school started. Back in the day, I went to sort of like I don't know if you want to call it, it wasn't a Catholic school or anything like that, but it was a little bit of a strict school. We had to wear tunics and blouses, and the boys had to wear little sports jackets and ties and white shirts and so forth. And I was just like, okay, this is what we do as kids. We go to school, and this is what's happening here. And as I sort of went on, like everything was okay when I was in that school, and when I went on to a little bit later on, like upper grade school, that's where things started getting a little bit awkward for me, because I was a very tall kid at, I think in grade like 5, 6, I was probably about 5, I'm going to say like 5'7" at that time, and I was very, very skinny. So I got the nickname Stretch, of course, and Skinny Bones, or whatever it is they used to call me back in the day. And I didn't really think about it, you know, because again, kids are cruel. When you're in school, kids are kind of like awkward, and you know, I get it. That's just what they do, and I'm sure they're still doing that kind of stuff in schools nowadays. So I didn't really think much of it, because, you know, everybody got teased in class for something or another. I mean, if you had red hair, they called you, you know, Carrot Top or whatever it was. So it was just kind of like, yeah, and it was mostly the boys doing it. So it was like boys were nasty anyway. They would throw spitballs at you in school and stuff like that. And I thought they were kind of, you know, kind of gross because they did things like that. They'd pull your hair and they do all kinds of crazy things. But boys will be boys, and I didn't really think much of it in terms of, you know, how I looked or how I was presenting myself too much when I was younger. But as time went on, things started to change. Obviously, when I became a teenager, I will share this experience with you. When I was about I think I just turned 17 years old, and I remember a 19-year-old guy asked me out on a formal date to a restaurant, like a really nice restaurant and everything else. And I went, sure, why not? I've never had this experience, so let's go for it. So I had dressed up, I put on my makeup and, did my hair really nice. I wore glasses because I always had really, really bad eyesight. Growing up as a kid, I always wore glasses. And I thought I had pretty nice glasses for the time. I mean, they were in style and everything. And he came pick me up. We went to the restaurant, and I was nervous as can be. So I'm sitting there trying to think of what to order. I mean, I was very thin, so I didn't really have a very large appetite. So I'm like, well, what am I going to order for dinner? So I ended up ordering the dinner Caesar salad, because I'm like, well, that's pretty safe. I'll, have some garlic bread and some Caesar salad and I should be good. So while we're waiting for our food, the guy says to me, what are you doing? And I said, what? He said, why are you wearing those Coke bottles on your face? You have such a pretty face. Take your glasses off for a minute. So I took my glasses off and I felt really uncomfortable. And he says, look, I used to wear glasses myself and I decided this is crazy. So I went and got myself a set of contact lenses and I think you should do the same. I'm like, wow, okay, thinking to myself, thanks for your advice that I didn't ask for. But okay, I felt really, really nervous now because he had said that. So the dinner comes, and then I'm eating the salad, but what had arrived on my plate was a massive, massive salad that had like 2 hard-boiled eggs in it and a huge amount of salad. Croutons, everything, the whole works. And of course, I can't eat very much, so I only ate a small portion of the salad. And he says to me then, well, why did you order such a big salad? And I said, I did not know this was going to be this big. I just thought, I was thinking Caesar salad, like a small salad. Did not know this was going to happen. He said, well, you should have known. I mean, somebody as skinny as you would never be able to eat a big salad like this. Again, I didn't know it was a big salad. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, now I shouldn't be wearing glasses. I'm obviously too skinny for this guy. So towards the end of the dinner, I had said to him, can I ask you a question? Why did you ask me out if you think that I'm too skinny and I, wear glasses, which obviously you don't like? And he said, no, it's fine that you're thin. I don't mind that at all. That's a good thing. But when it comes to ordering food, you should just order like a thin person. Again, I did not know it was going to be such a massive salad. Anyway, so I just had him drive me home after the end of the date. And needless to say, that was our first and last date. But I did learn something from that date, and it was like, wow, okay, now that you're a young lady and you're going out on dates, things are getting a little bit different. It's not as simple as it was in school, in grade school and stuff like that. So, how am I going to navigate this? How am I going to handle this? And, like back in my day, there was an emphasis on beauty, like there always is with women. Like my mother was a very stunning looking woman. She was like 5'7". She had beautiful skin. She was like amazing. She turned heads everywhere she went. She looked like one of the old time actresses like Jane Mansfield and so forth. So of course with her, it's going to be the emphasis. So she's always trying to tell me what to do. You should cut your hair like this. You should do this. You should do that. So I was like thinking, this is interesting. How am I going to navigate this? Because that's not really what I feel like doing. Like, why am I being told what to do? Well, years went on. My mother passed when I was still quite young, so years went on, and all of a sudden, here I am, 5'9", this thin woman, and everybody's pushing me at the age of, I think it was around 18, 19, to go into modeling. So I'm like, okay, I might as well might as well try it, because at that age you don't know what you want to do, or what your life is going to ultimately unfold to be. So it's like, well, maybe that's my destiny. Maybe that was why I was born this way, and why I'm tall and thin, and I can try modeling. Why not? So I had gone and gotten a job in this factory working for this man as a receptionist, file clerk, and he also said that it was just a couple hours during the day, and then for a few hours he had clients coming in and I can model some of the clothes because it was a factory. So I decided to, try this out again. It was pretty cool. So he had some clients coming in. At first it was just to model some jeans, and no problem. Then I went and changed and went home, and everything was good for the first week or two. And then all of a sudden something strange happened. I was there one day, and I had gone to, I'd finished my shift for receptionist, and I went to go get my purse and everything. And he said to me, "Here, can you try on these dresses?" And he threw a bunch of really nice, expensive dresses over the fitting room door. And he said, "Try them on." So I said, "Why? Do you have clients coming or whatever?" He said, "I just want you to try them on." So I went into the fitting room, and I was looking at the dresses, and they had huge price tags on them. And I was like, wow, okay, well, what the heck? And I was about to try on one of the dresses when he came in the dressing room. And he said to me, "The only thing is, you're going to be a great model one day, but the thing is you don't have enough TNA. So I do have a relative who does this, breast implants and things like that, and I could hook you up with him." And I said to him, "Well, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. I never thought about altering my body for any reason." So I was just like, nah, I don't know. I didn't really feel comfortable at all with his suggestions. And then he proceeded to put his hands on me in the dressing room. And he said to me, "If you just cooperate with me, all of these dresses can be yours. You can take them home. You can have them." And he started molesting me in the dressing room. I grabbed my purse and I ran out of that dressing room and out of the office and out onto the street as fast as I could. My heart was pounding. I was so scared. I ended up walking home, and then when I got home, I was really shaken up. Obviously, I'm not going back to that job again. I mean, I guess in hindsight, I could have reported him, but I wasn't. Again, I was very young, and I wasn't even thinking about that kind of stuff. Back in the day, in my day, perverts were kind of everywhere, so it was like, whatever. It was just labeled as, a perv moment, and I just moved on with my life. But somebody I had told the story to suggested that that's not, if you want to get into modeling, that's not the way to do it. You should get a modeling agent. So they hooked me up with a modeling agency, and I had gone in for a consultation. Now, I had 3 people in the room who were looking at me saying, "You're the right height," and so forth and so on. Now they're telling me I should be losing weight. They said, "You need to lose 10 pounds, get your teeth filed. I suggest that you dye your hair a chestnut brown and get this kind of cut and everything else, and then you'll be ready for your headshots." And I'm like, okay. So I leave the office and I'm going home, and I'm thinking to myself, this is not what I want. But again, there's a possibility here. I could make some money. I felt safe because I was under an agency at this point. So I went to the dentist. I had my teeth filed. I was doing great. Oh, and by the way, when I just need to backpedal here about the contact lens thing. A year after I had had the date with this guy who had suggested the thing about the contact lenses, I did end up going in to get fitted for contact lenses. And that was one good thing, because I came out of that office and I could see for the first time in my life so much clarity. I had never had that kind of clarity with glasses my whole life. I could see things and I felt so good about myself and really confident. And wasn't because of looks for me, it was because I can actually walk around places, dim lit places where I didn't have to worry about bumping into things. So that was important. So now here I am getting my teeth filed, right? And this was all in the course of like a few years, right? A couple of years. Then I decided, after, doing the teeth file thing and, dyeing my hair and stuff, I didn't want to go back to the agency. I did not want to. I just made the decision that that's it. I can't see myself going on with the rest of my life where I'm involved in a situation where I constantly be told what to do with my body, where I should get implants. I shouldn't get implants. I'm too thin, I need to lose weight. I did not want to be on that roller coaster ride at all. So I just said to myself, you know what? I want to be known for what I can do. I want to be having respect from people, not looking at me like a showpiece. I don't want to be dating guys who I'm just the arm candy for, things like that. I wanted self-respect and I wanted respect from other people. So I made that decision right then and there that I'm not going to do this. I don't want to alter my body. I have never been a person who's been interested in that kind of stuff in any way. I was never interested in plastic surgery. I don't even have a tattoo on my body. Like, I just always had this rule about, God made me the way I am and this is the way I stay. Like it or don't like it, doesn't really matter. So I went on to just try to find out, what am I going to do now with my life? And ironically, the apartment where I was living, about a block away, there was a metaphysical store. So I had walked into that store, started looking around, and got lost in all of these incredible books. I had already been aware of astrology, so I had an interest in it already anyway, but now I'm seeing tarot cards, I'm seeing books on astral projection and how to read auras and how to do automatic writing. All of this stuff just completely fascinated me. So I went down that rabbit hole and spent the next year and a half completely immersing myself in all that stuff. That's where I originally learned to read tarot, right? So I started feeling pretty good about myself, because now when I was out on dates or had met new people, had friends and stuff, I had a topic of conversation that I knew stuff about. And I felt good in that respect. I still, looks, because when you're a young woman, that plays a big part in it. It really does, in how people treat you, how people react to you, and so forth. So I did wear makeup. I did try and dress nice, things like that, put on pretty perfume, and did that kind of stuff to make myself look presentable, because that's what it was about for me, was that presentability. I never wanted to be that, woman who was a clothes horse, who wore the latest fashions or had the latest jewelry or anything like that. I just wanted to look good, to look presentable. And that was fine with me, because for me, I had something to talk about, and that was so important to me, because I didn't want to just be the quiet, pretty girl in the room. I wanted to be somebody who, like I said, was respected. So this is what I did. Then from that, I ended up traveling and doing all kinds of things, getting life experience basically again, so I would be more interesting. And what I always wanted to do was music. I was involved, like, very much, I wanted to be involved, but I was very much interested in film, comedy, music, those kinds of forms of entertainment. So at first, when I kind of got involved with the modeling, I was like, maybe that could lead to that type of career. But I didn't want to take that, because I thought the cost for me would be way too much. And when would I ever be able to turn over that career into something that I really wanted? So, as I said, I walked away from that. Now, fast forward to a few years later, I ended up going into the studio. I was a songwriter, so I wanted to write music and sing and go into the studio. After I had all of this confidence now because of the spirituality and belief system, my belief system was boosted, and I believed at that point I could do anything. I did my astrology chart. I learned all of this stuff about myself, and I'm like, yes, I do have the ability to do this. I'm going to do this. Went into the studio, made a record, put it out on my own record label. Eventually, fast forward, I met who would become my husband. I met Tony through doing music and everything else, and my life just sort of took a course that way. And I ended up on that road because I said no to the box that they were trying to put me in. It's not they, it was society and what was expected of a woman from my era. It was like when I grew up, the only older women that I knew, they were either married or they were spinsters with cats, or they were married and had children, had a family. And they dressed up, they went to the beauty parlor, they did all of this stuff. It was a part of being a woman. And I see that nowadays it's still the same thing, right? Young girls nowadays, they're doing the same thing, just in a different way. Now they're TikTok models, they're Instagram models, they're all over social media. But the problem with that is that when I was a young girl, the only role models that I had in terms of beauty, aside from my mother, was the actresses and models who were on the cover of magazines. We didn't have social media back then. So there was a beauty standard back then. You looked at Christy Brinkley and Cindy Crawford and all of them, but everyone told you that, yeah, these guys have work done. And I kind of knew from my brief experience in the modeling world that is true. They alter their body and they have plastic surgery and all of that stuff. And so I kind of knew that, so I was okay with just looking at the pictures and realizing that the standard of beauty was sort of like a false image. It wasn't sort of, it really was a false image. They were airbrushed, and the models were airbrushed, and they had work done and so forth to improve their natural beauty. So I was kind of okay with that, because it's like I knew I could have gone down that road. I chose not to. I wanted to do something more fulfilling with my life. And when it came to men, they really liked me for who I was, and I was okay with that. Sure, some men were attracted to me because of the way I looked, but most of them were just, I had a lot of male buddies. I grew up with a brother who I was very close to. My Uncle Bill, who was kind of because my dad died when I was young, he was kind of like a substitute father. I had a great relationship with him. We were buddies. I was buddies with my brother's friends. I had a lot of male friends, and even to this day, I still have a really good friend, Ricky, that I talk about all the time. He's a good friend of both Tony and myself, and I've always gotten along really, really well with them. And the reason being, I feel, is because, believe it or not, I learned to gain perspective on life, and I needed to gain perspective over myself. And once I did, I was able to offer something to the men in my life, and that was to give perspective to them. Now, for any of you who've ever watched Yellowstone, Beth Dutton, she does actually say this in one of the shows, that men need women to give them perspective. And I certainly do that for my husband, and I have done that for my brother and male friends throughout the years. I have been a really good friend to them. I've never been one of those women who was into the women's lib. Never really understood that because, like I said, I grew up in a household with boys and girls and went to school with boys and girls, and I never really, got into the whole man bashing thing or whatever. I understand. What I'm talking about today are women's problems. Men have their own set of issues growing up. I know because, again, I had a brother who I know the struggles he had being a man and the expectations that are put on men. So I have respect for men, I have respect for women, and I don't understand why we have to separate the whole thing and make, men have to make women the enemy or women have to make men the enemy. No, we're all just people at the end of the day. And I see it that way. And the men that I've met throughout my life understand that from me. They get that vibe from me right away. They know that I'm not sitting in judgment with them and I'm not hating on them. I'm not putting them in a box, and I don't want to be put in a box either. There are some really, really nice women out there, and there's some really not nice women. There's some really nice men out there and some not nice men out there. But it comes down to personality. You can't put a whole gender in a box like that. It doesn't work that way. We shouldn't be painting everyone with the same brush because that doesn't make any sense. I'm a logical person, and that does not make any sense to me at all. And again, this is coming from someone who has had a lot of really close relationships with the men in my life. And yeah, I've had some problems with men too, but I've also had some problems with women. It's not a gender thing at all. So this is the message I'm trying to put out there, because so many women, even women of older age, are struggling with these issues. And that's why I thought I would bring it out here. I know that this is a long, a long-winded video, but I think that's okay. For those of you who really are going to find value in this, you're going to stick with the video. And those of you who are not, maybe turn it off or not even watch it at all. But either way, it's okay, because I feel that this message will get to the right people at the right time in their lives. And I really, really want to reach out to the younger women who are struggling with these issues, because like I said in the beginning, the kind of things I was going through, I was so awkward and so confused as a young girl as to how to act, how to dress, and the whole thing. Like back in the day, we had false nails. I know women are all about the nails nowadays, but we had false nails that they were press-on. You had to press them onto your fingers. And I remember being mortified one time. I was on a plane. I was quite young, maybe 18 or something like that. And I was sitting next to this really nice looking gentleman, and I was reading a magazine. And the nails, two of the nails, actually, when I flipped the page, bent back and came right off. And he happened to have been looking at my hands at the time. And the look on his face, he was absolutely mortified. And here my nails were falling off right on the airplane. I got off, went to the washroom, threw them into the garbage, and said, never again. I'm not a big fan, like I said, of altering my body. I've tried it, and I have no issues with anybody else who, to each his own, and I respect other people's rights to do what they want to do, what they choose to do with their lives. If you want to have plastic surgery, lip implants, and breast implants, all of that stuff, that is your choice. But at the end of the day, I really don't think that it's going to enhance your life really in any meaningful way. More when it comes to if you're doing it to try to attract a man, well, men respond more to women who are respectful towards them, women who be friends with the men that you date and the men that you really like, because they really enjoy that. Men are nervous too when it comes to dating and things like that. So reach out to them, try to give them perspective. They really, really seem to like that. And just develop a friendship and get to know them instead of trying to attract them with all of the beauty trappings. I mean, these things are expensive. Getting your nails done and the eyelashes, like I wore false eyelashes back in the day too. Again, bad experience with it. In the garbage they went. It's not like I haven't tried these things, and I understand that the quality is much better nowadays. The false lashes and the nails and everything are quite different. They're not going to peel off. Well, maybe they will. I don't know. I wouldn't know. If you've noticed, I've been on YouTube for a long time. I just sort of, my nails are my nails, and sometimes they're long and sometimes they're short. And that's just how I go. It's how I roll, right? And I just want a lot of you women out there to understand it's fine. We all have our attributes. And just to this day, all I do is I always had nice hair, always had really big eyes. I'm Scorpio with the, intense eyes. And people always like my eyes. So I play up my eyes. I try and do different things with my hair. I tried all these things even to this day, but I don't do it for other people. I do it because I feel like doing it. If I want to get dressed up in fancy clothes, I will do it. I have fancy clothes, I can do it, and I can go out there. But I don't do it to get attention or to impress anyone. I do it because I feel like, since we're little girls, we love to play dress up, right? So I still enjoy a good dress up once in a while. I'm in the mood for it, and if there's, an event or a party going on, I will put it on. I will put on my best outfit, and I will feel good in it, and I will walk around in it, and if I get looks, I get looks. If I don't, I don't. I don't really notice, and I don't really care. And sometimes I feel like rocking a good pantsuit, and that's what I'll do. Most of the time, I'm in casual wear. As most of you know, I'm sitting here right now in a t-shirt. I do my readings in pretty casual clothes, but I always try to look at least put together. You know what I mean? I wear a little bit of makeup. I put on something nice. I smell nice, and to me, that's good. That's good, and that's all us women really, really need to do. In this world, or in any world, in any era, women have enough issues to deal with, okay? Let's not even get into the feminine issues we have to deal with growing up, getting our period, and back in my day, I had horrible cramps. It was terrible, and all they could offer you back then is Midol. Do you remember any women in the audience who had that experience with the Midol? Oh my goodness! If you're from that era, like the 70s and stuff, it was all about Midol. Nowadays, again, everything is a little bit better to make women's lives a little bit easier, but by the same token, if you're looking at Instagram and you're looking at TikTok and you're looking at all of these nice looking girls in your own age group and saying, wow, they look like that, and you look in the mirror and again, you shouldn't be putting the emphasis on that. You should be developing your own personality. You should be listening to what your calling is in life and sort of move in that direction. Try and become more of an interesting person instead of more of an interesting looking person. Always have your own style. Every woman has her own style, and that's good. I know women who have never worn any makeup their entire lives. They're perfectly comfortable in their own skin, and power to those people. I think it's wonderful. If you're one of those women out there, kudos to you. 2 thumbs up. I have never been that person, although I would like to be. Sometimes when I have, a great tan going on, I will go out without any makeup, but I'm just sort of conditioned to that, and I'm okay with that. I've already always allotted that extra 10 minutes during my day to put on some makeup if I'm going somewhere. That's it. But the thing is that I happen to be comfortable with who I am. And that's the main thing that I was after. That was something that I learned at a certain point in my life that I would never, ever get being a Barbie doll. Being the arm candy girlfriend or what have you. My weight has, throughout my years, I'm an older person now, but throughout the years, I've been up and down. I've had periods of my life when I was really thin, and then I'd gain some weight, and then I'd lose some weight and gain some weight. I never really dieted again either. I like to work out. I do enjoy it, and I get into these fitness modes from time to time where I just want to work out. And I really enjoy working out, and I enjoy swimming and doing a lot of activities. So then I get in shape, but then sometimes I just in a period of my life where I'm busy doing mental work and I'm not really paying too much attention to what's going on with my body. But I always miss it. I always miss the workouts and so forth. And then eventually I get back into it again. So I don't really worry too much because weight is something that will fluctuate through, anybody. It's not just women, men too. It fluctuates throughout your lifetime. So I don't think it's anything to really concern yourself with. If you have a problem with it, if it's a health issue or something like that, do something about it, because again, you're doing it for you, not for other people. So I guess my message today for women is to just do you. I mean, I went through a hard experience throughout my whole lifetime, up and down, feeling terrible about myself and feeling good about myself, till I finally got the message. And I realized that this is about me. People are going to take me as I am, or they're not going to take me, because you know what? People are fickle. One day they like you thin, and the next day they like you with a little bit of meat on you. The next day they like your hair blonde, and the next day they want it brown. You can't go around trying to accommodate everyone or follow trends or anything like that. Just be the trendsetter. Be you. You be the one who sets the trends. Don't follow the trends. This is absolutely crazy. I've seen women go through so much money and time and effort to try to hold themselves up to a certain standard, spending outrageous amounts of money on clothing and cosmetics and everything else. You don't need to. You really don't. Be the best version of yourself. Take good care of yourself, try and be as healthy as possible, and develop your personality and your knowledge. And like I said, if you're doing it to try and, catch a man or something like that, realize that the best thing you can do to ingratiate yourself with men is to be a good friend to them, because they appreciate that more than anything else. Beauty comes and goes, beauty fades and so forth, but boy, oh boy, men really appreciate when a woman is a good friend to them. So that's the advice I can give you based on my life experience. Now, all of you out there in YouTube land, all of the viewers, I would not mind at all if you would pipe in. Let me know what you thought of this video and share some of your experience, because I think it's important for us as women in this era, in our era, in any era, to put messages like this out there, because remember, we've got younger generations always coming up, and they could always use some good advice. I wish I would have had this kind of advice when I was younger, although I did learn it my own way, and maybe that's what these young women of today have to do, is learn it in their own way. But for all of you out there who are older women who have children, like young daughters or granddaughters or anything like that, who are of teenage years, maybe talk to them, reach out. I wish, like I said, I wish somebody else had done this with me when I was younger, maybe sort of given me a heads up, because I was very confused and very nervous and very introverted. I mean, those of you who know me out now as, Star Lourdes, I'm out here everywhere talking to everybody, but I was not like that when I was young. I was very, very insecure and very shy and didn't really want to speak too much because I didn't know what was the right thing. You're awkward when you're young, so maybe talk to the young ladies in your life and give them some advice and help them, especially if you see them struggling with body dysmorphia, anorexia, things like that, trying to control something about their body to be accepted or feel fit in. And it's not just teenagers. A lot of women, older women, are also struggling with these things. Just be yourself. Just do the best you can with what you have. That's all we can do in life, period, is do the best we can with what we have. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and please, looking forward to you guys sharing some stories here in the comment section. So, it helps all of us. So let's get to it. this is a project from Star Lourdes to all of you. Let me know what you think. Share some of your stories, whether you're an older person, younger person. Yeah, I want to hear from you. So I guess that's it. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I haven't covered here? Well, not in today's video anyway. I think this video is way long enough. So take care of yourselves, and much love. Star Lourdes signing off for now. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.